Oof, I'm sorry. I try really hard to watch the time because it only lets you do 10 minutes for YouTube unless well, that's what they like. I mean, I've seen videos that are more, but they generally like around 10 minutes, so I try and keep it like that. But, um, and I hate when I run over. And I was even watching the clock on that one, but I was trying to make a point, so. But anyway, that's not what I meant to talk about. Um, but it was something important I wanted to share because it's important to me. And I think it's important for my friends that are my close friends who do have to see me deal with the medication stuff that it's not the opiates that I hear about. It's the pain issue. And right now, it's like, because I am on another one, it's a nerve drug. Um, I was very lucky to have some of the medications I needed for this part of it. It's a nerve medication. It basically, there's several different kinds of pain medications. There's the opiates, narcotics, the NSAIDs, which are anti-inflammatories. There's all kinds of stuff, and there's two specific nerve drugs out there. One is Neurontin, which is one that actually helps my dad. Well, helps my dad really well, and it helps my other friend who has Ehlers-Danlos really well. But it's never worked for me. But each person's body's chemistry is different, so not every medication is going to work exactly the same way for each person. So Neurontin works really well for them, and that's great for them. I wish it would because there's actually a generic for that one, and there isn't for the one that I take. I'm on one called Lyrica, and boy, does it help. It actually helps way more than the narcotics do, but it doesn't help completely. It I have to have all of my medications all at once and at the right levels for it to actually work perfectly. So if I'm missing some, I'm there's some relief, but there's not a complete. Well, like I said, there's never a complete, but it's there's a tolerance. But if I'm out of one of the multiples, so if I still have my opiate and I'm out of the Lyrica, I'm still dealing with the pain because it doesn't take the opiate doesn't take away the nerve pain because your nerves and stuff die and it's really complicated. But it's excruciating. It literally feels like your arms and stuff are burning, and it just hurts so bad. Anytime you see me rubbing my arms, it's because that's what's happening. It's because it's so painful that that's what I'm having to deal with. So the Lyrica helps a whole lot, and a couple of times that I've had to go without my narcotic medication for a certain amount of time, when I've had the Lyrica, I could kick it through it okay. But if I don't have that one, if I don't have any kind of medical intervention whatsoever, it's horrible. But anyway, that's not what I was. That's not really what I meant to talk about, but I wanted to share that anyway, just so we were clear. Um, I halfway kind of want to see if I can push myself to make it to my. I have an appointment with a pain specialist on the 5th, and if I don't try and get medical intervention with my primary care on the 17th, I also have to go without until the 5th. Yeah, technically she should ride on the 17th because that's the entire month, and that's what legally I was supposed to be dealing with. But she's being such a bitch right now that I don't know if that's going to happen. So part of me just wants to push it till the 5th, not only to see if I can do it, but just so I don't have to deal with her ass. But trying to think about how much pain I'm in right now and how many days that is, that's a lot to see if I can do. But part of me is just one of those people that it's like, I want to see how strong I am. I want to see how much I can take. And I'll push myself to that last second before I do have to, call 911 or so on and so forth. And if you've been noticing my Facebook, I've been in the emergency room 3 or 4 times in the last few weeks. No, I mean the last week and a half. Quite literally. And the EMTs are like, you again? Gee, haven't we done this before? I'm gonna have to, I swear, if this happens more than if it happens again in the next 6 months, I'm gonna do a barbecue for beer for them or something because they do it that much. But there were legitimate reasons. But I literally did push it to the last second until I absolutely had to call. I hate calling 911. I was raised that you don't do that unless you're dying because that was taking it away from somebody else who needed it more than you did. But I've been raised that everyone else on the entire planet is more important than me. So it's weird that you literally have to, and I literally generally have to have a friend or family or someone say, you need to call 911 before I'll do it. Just in case, because I'm always thinking maybe I'm just, because I've been accused of just making it up in my head and having problems and so on and so forth. So it literally takes somebody else going, you need to call, or I will call, because something, I mean, like, if you don't, you're going to die. But anyway, I still haven't gotten to the other stuff that I wanted to keep talking about. But, so I'm probably going to end up with a number 3. And I'm a little wary about talking about it, I guess, because I just don't want to make him any more uncomfortable than I already am, or he already is. But I'm really unsettled by the whole thing, and we can't talk on the phone and stuff. So part of this is just because I wanted to share it with him, because it really did actually really upset me badly. But not really on the level that, like, they were expecting it to upset me. They were trying to shock me. But you can't shock me. There's very little that you could actually say or show me or do that would actually shock me. Mostly because I have made a purpose in my life to see and experience and do as much as humanly possible to get a grasp of everything on the planet that you could possibly do to shock me, because I've never, that's a big thing for me. I don't know. I'm sure there's something out there, but what they were doing wasn't. Far from it. My family is much worse. Much, much, much worse. But I didn't really want to get into it with them, and I didn't really want to try and sit there and say they were wrong and all that kind of stuff, because it would have made problems for him, and so I just kind of just laughed at them, because it was, and they thought I was laughing with them, but I wasn't. I was laughing at them, unfortunately, because they were trying so darn hard, and it was really not getting to me. But the thing that was getting to me the most was how bad it was affecting him, and how bad it showed me how bad of a situation that he really is in right now, and that he's not making this up. I mean, he's really having to experience this. This is, it's bad, man. I mean, so bad. I'm like, you can come stay with me, dude. I don't care if it's a small apartment. I'll make room. I don't fucking care. I have a spare bed, and we'll make do. I don't care. That's just not a healthy situation. I it's just not. And I think the important thing that he needs to know is that you, as a human being, have a right, regardless if they're your family or not, to set up boundaries that protects you from unhealthy or abusive people. You have a right to do that. You have a right to stand up for yourself and say, unless you can control yourself, I have to put up these boundaries to make sure that you're not abusing me or causing me mental anguish or all of those other things that go into that. Just because they're family doesn't mean they have a right to abuse you. Yes, they're your family, and you're always going to love them, and they're your family, but they don't have a right to do that to you. And you have a right to stand up for yourself and set up those boundaries. And it's hard, because, like, with my mom, I haven't seen her in 16 years, and I hardly ever get to talk to her on the phone, because it's really difficult for both of us. But those boundaries are in place for a reason, because it was such an abusive situation. And I know my aunt tries really hard. That she does want us to have contact with each other, and I do want to have contact with her, but I want to have limited contact with her, because until I know for sure that it's going to be safe for the both of us, because it's not just me. It causes her a lot of mental anguish when we talk on the phone too. It's a very painful situation. So it's hard, because you can't. You have to do that. When I walked away, I made a decision to walk away. I tried to save her. I tried to tell her. I tried to explain it to her. I tried to be there for her. I tried to do everything I could do, even though I was the child in the situation, to try and help her. And there was a point that I realized that she was an adult, and she was going to make the choices that she was going to make, and I couldn't stop her. And the only thing I could do was get out and try and save my own life and make the best life I could make out of my life in a tribute to her, because I am a part of her, and I'm her creation on a certain level. It was the hardest decision I've ever made, and it hurts me to this day that I had to do that, but if I didn't, it would have killed me. So I had to, and this is going to run out, so I'm going to have to do another one. I'll talk to you in just a minute.